Fox Sports.
Gorgeous Sunday here at Sun Life Stadium, and a kids Sunday at Sun Life Stadium. The Marlins are a game over, the Mets are a game under. What a change from 3 nights ago. The kids are here, and they're ready to watch the Fish go for something that is very rare in Major League Baseball, and that would be a 4-game series sweep. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Why is it so hard in baseball to sweep a series, a 3-game series, let alone a 4-game series?
I think it's hard because, number one, you're playing major leaguers, and major leaguers are pretty good. This is the highest level you're going to get to. So it's hard to run into a ball club that maybe is down a little bit for 3 or 4 games in a row, and at the same time, you have to be on a pretty good roll yourself. Right now, the Marlins are in a pretty good position to sweep a 4-game series. It's pretty rare.
One lesson we've learned from this series, even major leaguers need a day off. And the guys that have had that day off have blossomed the following day. I mean, let's start with Dan Uggla.
Yeah, let's start with Freddie Gonzalez, who has to make that decision. He knows that these guys, Uggla and Cantu, don't want to take a day off, but sometimes it's needed. And how about Dan Uggla? After his day off, he had a 2-homer night against the Mets. He was rested, probably felt a little stronger, and he jacked a couple of balls out. So a nice night for Uggla after his day off. How about Jorge Cantu? He got a day off. What did he do last night? Boy, he hit the ball hard every time up. Jorge Cantu had 3 hits. He had a double. He had an RBI. And the 2 outs he made were line drive outs. So the day off worked for Jorge Cantu. And I think a lot of that stems from the manager. He has to make the decision and let the player know, okay, I'm giving you today off. I know you don't like it, but you're going to be off today.
Marlins have won first 3 games of this series. They've had very good starting pitching throughout, and they're hoping that Ricky Nolasco can continue that. However, in Chicago, when it was cold and it was wet, he was outstanding.
Ricky had 7 solid innings against the Chicago Cubs, and I think it kind of goes along with what we're talking about, Rich, as sweeping a series. You want to be the guy who pitches the game that's the 4th game that sweeps the series. You don't want to be the guy who allowed the Mets to win the 1 game in the series. So Ricky is going to try to build off that outing he had against the Cubs. He's not had great success in his career, though, against the Mets. Jonathan Neese, a left-hander. The Marlins saw him early in the season. He's not overpowering, off-speed, little cutters. He goes for Jerry Manuel's ball club.
And for the Marlins, they go for a 4-game series sweep. Fish have a lot of momentum right now. There's a lot of things going right with this ball club.
Yeah, it's good to see. Even last night, after getting those gift runs in the first inning, the Mets came back and tied it, but the momentum, the offense was able to come back and take the lead.
Ricky Nolasco will go for that sweep. The Marlins against the Mets. We finish off what has been a terrific weekend of baseball here at Sun Life Stadium on a Kids Sunday. Some lessons from Niner when we return. Great day for baseball. Kids Sunday, Mets and Marlins. Let's get it started with Craig and Niner.
Thank you, Reg. Kids Sunday, and a few thoughts on some lessons from Jeff Conant and Cameron Maben, who gets to start leading off for the Marlins here. He had only a couple of starts on the road, and he didn't have a good road trip in his few starts, but he's had a very good homestand. Anything you've seen differently that we can look at?
Well, it's probably something that's going on that we can't see, which is in the brain. And you see Cameron Maben right there, poor pitch recognition. He's swinging at balls out of the strike zone, and that's because of preparation. You're not confident. Last night we see him be patient against a John Maine that's all over the place. Key base hit right there. Huge. Another great swing. You see it in his extension right here. We slow this down. The ball on the right, he's fully extended. The one on the left, you see that tentative swing with that means he's not really recognizing the pitch. He's going after it in a non-aggressive manner. On the right, he's recognizing it and he's going after it aggressively, straight to the ball. And that's, part of the thing that you don't realize as a major league player, or the fans might not realize, is that this game is, the old Yogi Berra saying it's 90% mental and the other half's physical. But it truly is a mental game, and I think Cameron Maben, once he gets that down mentally, he's going to blossom.
He was 1 for 7 with an infield hit on the road trip. But in this series, Niner, he's 4 for 7 with 4 RBIs, and he'll start in center field for the Marlins here as the Fish look to do something they've only done once before, and that is pull off a 4-game sweep of the Metropolitans. East and Alaska, the matchup. Rich and Tommy with the call next.
$15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Toyota, moving forward. Mets and Marlins. First 3 have gone the Marlins' way. Here's the Mets lineup coming into this ball game. The Mets are a game under. Jose Reyes, second straight game now since being moved back to the leadoff spot. Alex Cora gives Luis Castillo a day off. Jason Bay's hitting streak is stretched to 9 games now. Chris Carter, a youngster out of Stanford, is in right field. David Wright's at third base. Ike Davis at first. Angel Pagan is bumped down to the 7th spot. Henry Blanco is off the bereavement list. He has just hit a walk-off home run before going on that list. And Jonathan Neese, the young lefty, hits 9th.
Well, as Ricky gets prepared to go out and take his warm-up pitches, he can look back at his April 7th start against the Mets at Citi Field. He pitched well, 6 2/3 innings, gave up 3 hits and 3 runs, actually left the ball game with the lead. He got a no decision in that game. Overall, though, his ERA against the Mets is 5.82. A couple of guys have really given him trouble over the years, Jose Reyes and David Wright. So we'll keep our eye on that. In Chicago, last time out against the Cubs, Ricky was solid. 7 innings, 5 hits, gave up just 1 run to the Cubs.
Been a good defensive series for the Fish.
There's a look at Cody Ross and Maven and Brett Carroll in the outfield. Cody with a rare start in left with Cantu and Hanley and Ugla and Sanchez around that infield. And Ronnie Paulino is behind the plate. So Cody goes over to left. Freddie feels real good with Brett Carroll in right field. We know Cody can play all of them exceptionally well. So he's kind of the odd guy out, moving over to left field, when in fact you really have 3 center fielders out there, if you think about it.
So Ricky getting ready to face these Mets. It's curious, the career numbers for Ricky against the Mets, not all that sparkling. His numbers on the year, he's at 3-2, with a 3.66 ERA. And as is on Kids Sunday, we always have our baseball basics. Jose Reyes is back to being the leadoff hitter.
Well, the guy who starts the game off, he leads the game off. He leads off the game when he's on the road because the visiting team bats first. So he's the first batter that we'll see this afternoon. You know, speaking of lists and all those things, all of a sudden Ricky Nolasco moving up on Marlins all-time lists as far as pitchers. He's 4th in his career in the win department. 43 career wins. Dontrell Willis, the all-time Marlins leader, with 68.
So it's Reyes, Cora, and Bay here in the first. Ricky opens with a fastball that runs outside. Reyes in this series just 2 for 13. Still waiting to really get going after coming off the disabled list. Overactive thyroids was his issue in spring training. Counts 1-1. Tommy pointed out Reyes very good against Nolasco, a 406 career average and 32 at bats. Pretty good breaking ball that just missed, according to Larry Vanover. And in those 32 at bats, Reyes has actually hit 3 home runs against Ricky.
Yeah, Reyes is saying, wait a minute, the one before you called a ball, that one you called a strike. They were very similar.
Count full now, 3-2. Those are the career numbers of Reyes against Nolasco. It's one of the reasons why Nolasco is just 3-6 with an ERA of close to 6 against the Mets. And Reyes bangs one into center field for a base hit. Maven picks it up. And the Mets have what they want. They want Reyes on base.
Well, they have a good combination here now, too, with Reyes' speed. And you get the feeling Jerry Manuel's going to try a few things after you've lost 3 in a row to get your club going. So when you have a good combination, Reyes at first and Alex Cora, the hitter, Alex Cora playing second base today. Good bat control at the plate. So a great combination with these two guys.
It was Alex Cora who was hitting leadoff and playing shortstop in the first game of the series in New York. Reyes has 8 stolen bases already. And Nolasco comes to the plate, misses outside. Ricky didn't miss much in his start in Chicago. Just a walk in 95 pitches, 7 innings of work, and he beat his old catcher, Randy Wells.
Yeah, the other thing about Reyes, 8 steals, he's only been caught once.
Something the Mets missed last year when Reyes played in just 36 games. He stole 56 bases back in 2008.
A little bit of a lean. Yeah, might have been going. Watch the lean. He was able to regroup and get back just under the tag of Gabby.
This time Reyes back standing. Reyes bluffs, and Nolasco obviously distracted, has missed twice to Cora.
Yeah, and you could clearly see that Ricky altered his delivery, too, on that pitch. Some pitchers can get away with that and give it a little slide step. And he kind of changed things up that way to throw a little deception toward Reyes, but did not throw a good pitch to the plate.
Now he needs a strike, and he gets it. So we'll see if Reyes is on the move now with a count 2-1. Day baseball just starting across the major leagues. The Cardinals and the Reds are underway. The Marlins and the Mets. That's another close one. Those are the first two National League games out of the chutes. Arizona is in Atlanta, and of course Arizona is here tomorrow night. The Diamondbacks are one of the best hitting teams in baseball. In fact, they lead the National League in home runs. They hit a bunch of them yesterday in beating Atlanta. It's a Dan Herron, Tim Hudson matchup. Ricky waits, and you can hear Cora ask for time.
Yeah, Justin Upton, Kelly Johnson with big days for the Diamondbacks yesterday in Atlanta.
Reyes is running. Liner to left. Ross is there. Makes the catch. He's got a shot at first. Here's the throw. He's out. Double play.
You put Cody anywhere and he comes up with a strong throw. Right field, center field, left field. Good jump. Positioned himself well to come up with the strong throw. 2 hops right to Gabby Sanchez, and Reyes is gone. Well, we've seen some great throws. Chris Coughlin made a great throw in left field last night. Cody made a nice throw from right field last night.
Here is Jason Bay. Wow, the whole feel of this inning has changed. It was a long, drawn-out at-bat with Cora and Nolasco playing cat and mouse with Reyes. Now he's 0-1 on Bay. His hitting streak is at 9 games.
That can really change a pitcher, too, and the thinking in the inning.
Yeah, what a luxury it is to have 3 center fielders in the lineup at the same time out in the outfield. Pop up. Let's see if Gabby has room. He does it in 13 pitches. Nolasco gets through the first with a little help from his friends, specifically Cody Ross. Kid Sunday. Got the baseball cards here at the ball game. Marlins and Mets. Maybe some of them will have a Cameron Maben card. He leads it off. Gabby Sanchez behind him. Sanchez against the Mets in all 6 games, 11 of 23. Hanley Ramirez is at short, Jorge Cantu at third, Dan Uggla's at second, Ronnie Paulino back behind the plate. Cody's out in left, Brett Carroll is in right, and Nolasco's in the 9 spot. And here's Maben, who has had a nice little series going. He's 4 for 7. A look at Jonathan Neese.
Well, look out for Chris Coughlin tomorrow night. He's getting the day off today. And I think Freddie, with the confidence he has in Cameron Maben, the way he swung the bat the last couple of days, feels comfortable hitting him in that leadoff spot. All kinds of things can help you turn things around offensively. You heard Jeff Conine talking on Marlins Live about 90% of it is mental, and that is true. Every once in a while, a little injury. The other day in the batting cage, Cameron was bunting off the machine. It was a little erratic, and he fouled the ball off his toe, his left toe, and it hurt like heck. And he's going to lose a toenail. He didn't feel well. He kind of half kidded and said, you know, it's making me land on my front foot a little softer. And sometimes a little thing like that can turn things around. See, it's that left foot that he lifts up.
And we saw him last night in the outfield gingerly going after balls in the gaps.
And then also what that does mentally, it'll take away the thoughts about how you've been swinging. That's just a good pitch there by Neese.
Neese with a breaking ball. And he strikes out Maben. Jonathan Neese, who started against the Marlins back in April, pitched well, but lost 3-1. Jorge Cantu had a couple of doubles. Ronnie Paulino had 2 hits. Gabby Sanchez had a double in that ball game. And here is Gabby. 7 for 12 in this series. And Neese misses up.
He has certainly introduced himself to the New York Mets. He was 4 for 11 in that series in New York. So 11 hits this year off the Mets.
Check swing, no swing. You can hear Larry Vanover ask Angel. That would be Angel Campos at first. Jeff Nelson, Jeff Kellogg on the bases.
One of the things Neese will do with that fastball to right-handed hitters, he likes to throw that cut fastball in on the hands.
Gabby's broken bat single to left field.
Got it in on the hands, but when you're a hot hitter, it doesn't matter. And Gabby Sanchez, with his 8th hit this series and his 12th hit against the Mets this year. So let's see, he's now 12 for 24 against the Mets, a 500 hitter.
All right, here's Hanley now. He's got 5 hits in the series.
That's also, Rich, a 6-game hitting streak now for Gabby.
Hanley with 3 hits last night. In fact, he had hits in his last 3 at bats. He fouls one back. Oh, 0-1 to the Marlins shortstop. Slow breaking ball. We see pitchers, righties and lefties, work from all over the mound, but Neese, as a lefty, is working on the very edge of the mound on the third base side.
Check on the scouting report for the 23-year-old left-hander. Finesse, but he can get it up there. He's a little more than finesse. He'll throw 90-91. Some cutters, and he can be a little sneaky because he has that nice, easy, fluid delivery.
Nope, that's in. Blanco.
There's that 91.
Framed it and held it for Vanover, but it misses in. Henry Blanco's a good receiver.
Well, these guys have two quality catchers, veteran guys, Rod Barajas and Henry Blanco. Barajas a little better offensively.
It's hit hard at Reyes. Cora makes the turn in time, and the inning is over. Marlins bounce into a double play. We've had two double plays and no score. Mets are Toyota trend. The Marlins have never swept the Mets in a 4-game series at home. Last time they did it in New York was back in 2004. Here's Chris Carter going after the first pitch. Drives it to deep left center. Maben on the track, that rubberized track. That's about a 415-foot out.
And as we say often, when a ball's hit in that area, out toward that triangle, that's a home run in a lot of ballparks. A lot of territory for Cameron to cover, and he was able to make it easy.
Trying to think with the different home run line that they drew at Citi Field, if that ball gets out of Citi Field.
It's close.
At the very least, it's probably off the wall. Here's David Wright, who hit a ball that is out of, I think, every ballpark in the major leagues yesterday. Would you agree on that?
Yes.
440 feet to straightaway center. It was a 2-0 count against Nate Robertson. You just knew he was looking fastball.
He got the fastball, middle of the plate, stayed back on it really well. That's something he's worked on a lot. And remember, just 10 home runs last year. He has 8 already.
Breaking ball misses inside. Remember, Wright was beamed last year and had to go on the disabled list. I think that was in San Francisco. 2-1 coming. Fastball up and in.
Well, the Marlins starters have been doing their share. In the month of May, the Marlins starters are 7-3 with an ERA under 3.
that is strike 3 called. David Wright, for the 50th time already this year, has struck out.
I mean, he's going to be challenging Mark Reynolds. Well, maybe not.
Oh, yeah.
There's a fastball right there. I think he was just fooled on the pitch. It's a pretty good pitch to hit.
With that strikeout, unless Justin Upton is punched out early in that game, I don't think that game has started. Right now is the National League leader at 50. Reynolds is at 48. Upton is at 49.
Reynolds hasn't gotten on track yet.
Let's hope he doesn't have the type of series here
goodness.
that he had last year when he was a home run hitting, base stealing fool. He was a one-man wrecking crew. I think Upton hit a couple balls into the upper deck as well.
Yeah, Upton had a 6 RBI game. We were ready to put Mark Reynolds in the Hall of Fame after that series. And it was about the same time last year, middle May.
Good breaking ball from Nolasco. And it's 1-2. Watch how this ball drops. Let's see where it goes on Fox Track.
Yeah.
Hanley. Nolasco looks sharp. We go to the bottom of the second. Marlins and Mets are scoreless. That's with the Phillies. Luis Enrique and Jerry Rivera following a fireworks spectacular presented by Coca-Cola. Marlins take on the Phillies at 7:10. And you can get a Marlins tambourine courtesy of Majestic Athletic. Whip it. Whip it good. When a fastball comes along,
Whip it.
you must whip it.
Whip that bat through the zone.
That's what Cantu did all night last night. Even his outs. In fact, his outs were hit harder than his base hits last night. Cantu had 3 hits from the 3rd through the 6th, and his line drive outs in the 1st and the 8th were scorched. Reyes, great range. He's a very good shortstop, and he has shown that here in this series.
He's an exciting player. There's no question. That's why the Mets need to get him on track. And he has a little flair. You can tell with the way the sunglasses are worn. He'd be hard-pressed to turn those around on a pop fly.
At least he's not wearing them at 8 o'clock at night. We saw a few players
we did.
on that last road trip. Here's Uggla. Nice's breaking ball came a long way, but not far enough for a strike. His 2 homers are his 2 hits in this series. And they came against lefty Oliver Perez. A lot of talk in the New York papers about Perez and his demotion to the bullpen and exactly how the Mets are going to use him from this point forward. Because as we discussed last night, it's not like you can stick him in the 7th or the 8th inning of a close game. And if you don't have, and the Marlins are a great example, if you don't have a blowout game in a week to 10 days, how do you get that guy work?
Well, the situation Freddie has with Raniel Pinto
and Dan Meyer. See, a demotion to the bullpen doesn't just mean you're pitching out of the bullpen. It means you're sitting in the bullpen now as well.
Yeah, you no longer sit on the bench, chart games. Yeah, you have to join the boys down in the bullpen.
Uggla's ground ball finds Reyes. Strong throw. Reyes has had 3 balls hit to him. One was the double play that finished the first, and then the first 2 games here in the second.
This is how a shortstop has soft hands. Nicely done as he funnels it, and then gets his footwork ready to make that strong throw over to first.
You see how, and the other thing that was interesting,
he didn't catch that cleanly either.
No, but if we can see the very end of that again, watch how he finds the grip on the ball automatically and goes to a 4-seam fastball, because as an infielder, you don't want to throw a 2-seamer, you want to throw a 4-seamer. Paulino, that is just foul.
That's a great idea and a great tip as we are here on a Kids Sunday, that you teach youngsters, except if you're a pitcher, and then you can get 2 seams, but you teach youngsters from the outfield, infield, to always get that grip 4-seam when you make your throw, because then it's going to be a more accurate throw.
Paulino. Reyes got plenty of time, and he makes the play again. 3 6-3s in the book. A lot of kids here on this Sunday afternoon. A lot of Little League teams in uniform at the ball game, watching Ricky Nolasco and Jonathan Neese go after each other.
All those kids working on their 4-seam grip.
Nolasco's 3rd inning will include Angel Pagan, Henry Blanco, and John Neese. Pagan started this series in the leadoff spot, and then he spent last night in the 3 spot, and now he's hitting 7th.
And it's not because he's not been hitting. He's hit over 330 last 10 games.
Took a rip at a 2-0 pitch and fouls it back. The Mets as a team are hitting just 244, and on the road their numbers are right around 200, and that's last in all of baseball. Their road record overall is 4-11, and they have lost all 5 of their road series. Leadoff walk, a rarity for Nolasco.
Yeah, it's something that he hates to do. Ricky's one who likes to go after hitters. He kind of sets that goal every year in spring training. And coming into this game, a good ratio, 35 strikeouts, 9 walks, so that's just his 10th walk of the year.
Here is Blanco.
This is a possible hit and run situation because you have a guy who can hit into a double play. Blanco doesn't run well, but you have a little speed at first. And sometimes the manager will say, oh, maybe I can stay out of a double play, get a little action going on the bases. See what happens. There it is.
He's running, and Blanco yanks it foul. Blanco, 38 now, Venezuelan, has been in the big leagues for a long time and played for a lot of people. The Dodgers, the Brewers, the Braves, the Twins, the Cubs, Padres last year, and now a Met. Catchers are kind of like left-handed relievers. If you're a lefty reliever and you can get lefties out, you'll stay in the game a long time, probably even longer than you can still get lefties out, just because you used to be able to get lefties out. But catchers who are good receivers, good defensive catchers, good backup catchers like Blanco, as long as their bodies don't wear out, they can have a long career.
Well, we used to see Henry Blanco all the time when Greg Maddux pitched. But you're right. Teams love to have that excellent receiver. He doesn't have to have a whole lot offensively. Hopefully your other catcher does that. But they love to have that one catcher who can handle a pitcher, call a game. And he's got a great record in throwing runners out. He's over 40% in his career in throwing runners out.
That's Pudge territory. Blanco goes after a high fastball. And Ricky gets a strikeout. Up comes Nice. Yesterday we were talking about Marlin backup catchers and kind of where are they now. Paul Hoover with the Phillies the last couple of days has had big days with the bat. He's such a great guy. It's great to see Hoove back in the big leagues. 3 hits yesterday, a homer 2 days ago.
Well, Paul Hoover was called up when Brian Schneider had to be placed on the disabled list. And yeah, he hit a home run the other day, had a 3-hit game last night. Matt Trainer still going strong.
Miguel Olivo hit another homer yesterday. About a 700-foot shot.
Well, he's just on fire.
Coors Field. He hit it 20 rows deep to straightaway center. Runner goes. Good jump. Little hit and run by Nice. And it's fouled off. It's fortunate for the Marlins that Nice fouled it off because Angel Pagan had the base stolen.
Again, just early on in this game, you can see Jerry Manuel trying to do some things with his club, having lost the first 3 games of this series. And overall now, the Mets have lost 4 straight.
Now it's 2-1. Runner goes, a liner into left center field, and it works. Ross picks it up, and wouldn't you know, Jonathan Neese on a hit and run dumps one into left center.
Well, try, and pretty soon it's going to work. So the hit and run was on again, a 2-1 pitch. Jerry Manuel had a pretty good idea that his pitcher would see a fastball, and the base runner, Neil God, did a good job because you have to pick up that ball as a runner. With the hit and run, he picked it up, saw it was going to drop for a base hit, got himself over to third.
And now you got Reyes, and as we documented, Reyes is over 400 in 33 career at-bats against Alaska. Middle infield's back for two, but Reyes is tough to double up.
Yeah, you have to be careful here as an infielder, and if he hits that ground ball, not try to force a double play and maybe throw a ball away.
He's missed with 2 curveballs, and now it's 2-0. There's Pagan with Neese across the diamond. It's a leadoff walk and a 1-out hit and run single by the pitcher. See what Reyes gets. 2-0. A liner, got one there, got 2 there. How about that? Reyes hit it on the button.
Now we know what the conversation was at the mound. If Reyes hit a line drive to second and a double play. Now this is one you don't always anticipate. Reyes hits this ball pretty well and caught off first base. A nice inning-ending double play was the pitcher Jonathan Neese. Gabby Sanchez had to get to that bag quickly. A little bit of trouble finding it, but got it in time, and it's our Checkers double of the game.
How about the 2 double plays the Marlins have? The liner to Ugla and the line drive to Cody Ross out in left field. check in now with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Rich, thank you very much. I was talking with Jerry Manuel, who was a maybe forgotten coach on the World Series team for the Marlins in 1997, and he was talking about his lineup today. And I know Tommy remember what he was referring to, the Sunday bomber lineup that Jim Leland always liked to use, throwing the Cangelosis and Eisenreichs in the lineup. And he especially mentioned John Wayner, who was not a leadoff hitter, but he said Leland would do it no matter who he played on a Sunday. He'd throw him in his spot, sometimes leading off, and Wayner would make something happen. He'd double, he'd slide, he'd create some excitement and spark, and certainly the Mets need that. Maybe that's what he's doing with Chris Carter here, getting his third Major League start, but only second time out there in right field, and putting him in the cleanup spot. It shakes things up. It also goes righty, lefty, righty for Manuel, reminding him a little bit of his Marlin days as a coach under Leland.
That's a good point, and Jerry Manuel will tell you that he learned a lot from Jim Leland, went on to be a successful manager then with the White Sox, and Leland used to, it wouldn't matter if he switched up, got Moises Alou out of the lineup, he'd have Cangelosi hitting in the same spot. It wouldn't matter.
Of course, we will see another former Marlin coach who is now the White Sox manager next weekend. The Marlins in Chicago again, not to face the Cubs, but to face the White Sox. Ozzie Guillen.
Did you leave anything in the hotel, Rich?
I did.
Pick up on the trip back?
You want to know? I did. I left a pair of glasses there, and I called them and I said, just hold on to them. We'll be back in about 4 days.
Not your computer?
No.
Cord or anything?
No.
Or your, you know what I've done a few times? The phone charger.
That's a big one, yeah.
But the good news is you can go back, and they have about 60 of them downstairs at any hotel.
To match any phone.
2-2 to Cody Ross. Ross has 3 hits in this series. He has hits in 16 of his last 18 games. Ground ball, diving stop right on his feet. Safe. Ross beat it. Had Wright not bounced it 3 or 4 times,
that slowed it up.
Cody would have been out, but that's such a difficult play going to his right, and he is a terrific third baseman.
He's put on a clinic in this series. David Wright is a fun player to watch, and you're right, he just couldn't get quite enough on it. And because the grass slowed it up on the 2 or 3 hops of the bag, Cody Ross gets the infield base hit.
In Fox vision.
Look at this. He's been all over the place at third base. Not afraid to get dirty. Has a lot of range.
What he needed was that old artificial surface bounce. The one that Davey Concepcion used to make in Cincinnati.
Yeah, would have gotten over there quicker and he would have gotten the out.
BC getting a start in right field. 0 for 2 in this series. It counts 2-0. Got Nolasco on deck. Two and 1. Diamondbacks tomorrow night. Diamondbacks still haven't announced who's going to pitch on Tuesday afternoon. The Marlins will miss Dan Herron. He throws today, is throwing right now. In fact, Atlanta scored twice in the bottom of the first against him to lead Arizona 2-0. Carroll fouls it back. Chris Volstad and Edwin Jackson go tomorrow. Jackson has been somewhat of a disappointment at 1-5 with an ERA of 7.43.
Yeah, a guy who was very instrumental and had a nice year for the Tigers last year. Teammate of Nate Robertson's.
Two-two's in. Nice has tried to get that call. Larry Vanover isn't biting. It's outside, and BC walks. Diamondbacks for a very brief 2-game series. The Marlins are going to, this week is going to feel really weird. A night game on Monday night. The Subway Monday coupon is available. Tuesday, the Miami Herald's got your 2 for Tuesday going as well. You can order your tickets at 1-877-MARLINS. And so you got a night game on Monday, a day game on Tuesday against the Diamondbacks, then a night game on Wednesday and a day game on Thursday against St. Louis.
And then a night game on Friday and 2 day games, Saturday and Sunday, against the White Sox. So 5 day games in the next 8 games.
And then, Tommy, we get our off day. A week from Monday. After 20
And boy, will we
in a
come
row.
out strong Tuesday night.
Nolasco drops it down foul.
Problem is when you have so few off days, you make so many plans, you never have time to do everything you made plans for.
Well, because there's a long list of things you're not able to do while you're working, and so you get that off day, and you got to do this, and by the time you do them, it's Tuesday, and you're working. Ross and Carroll aboard, and Nolasco takes up, and it's 2-1.
See if Ricky can help himself out. Jonathan Neese tried to help himself out with that base hit on the hit and run. But then he equaled that out when he got doubled off on the line drive.
There's the bunt. Neese is going to go to third. Wright drops the ball.
He was thinking about throwing it before he caught it. You could see that coming all the way. David Wright was watching Ricky Nolasco, and he was anticipating a double play and did not handle the throw. The bunt is a little bit too hard. Neese makes the right play and has Cody Ross by 10 feet. But David Wright, thinking about double play, couldn't make the grab. He heads up. He's looking at Ricky run up the first base line.
Bags loaded. Here's Maben.
So it's not a sacrifice. It's a fielder's choice and an error charged to David Wright. The pitcher actually gets an assist, Jonathan Neese, because the throw had him beat. Had Cody beat.
2-0 on Maben. Cameron has spent countless hours with Jim Presley over the last 2 weeks. Lines it to left. Bay, it's off the wall. Cody scores. BC got a great jump. He's right behind him. In those sessions, the one thing that Presley has preached to Cameron Maben, aggression. When you swing aggressively.
That was aggressive. He had a hitter's count. He was aggressive on the fastball. Hits this ball so hard that it's just a hard, long single, but 2 RBIs. Cameron tied his career high with 3 RBIs in the game last night.
The error by Wright, enormous in this inning. And now the Marlins have one of their hottest hitters, maybe their hottest hitter up right now in Gabby Sanchez with runners first and second.
Yeah, that ball stung so sharply that even Ricky Nolasco, who was the runner at first base, could make it just a second. A good jump by Brett Carroll, by the way. At second, he realized that ball quickly was over the head of the left fielder, Jason Bay.
Gabby lays down a bunt. Neese. It's wild. Up the line it goes. Nolasco missed third. He had to go back and tag it. Here's the throw. He scores. Maben even gets to third, Ricky missed the base and had to go back and tag it, and he still came across.
And that throw came in easily because they thought Ricky was going to score easily. They didn't think there was going to be a play at the plate. They didn't know that Ricky missed third base. Let's take a look. Good idea by Gabby. I think he's going to get a base hit on this. And here's Ricky. Whoop, I missed third base. Now he comes in to score, and the throw from the right fielder, Chris Carter, is just kind of lobbed back into the infield. All kinds of things happening on this play. Well, hey, he may have gotten it, but he wasn't sure. If you're not sure, you better go back. Not quite Benji Molina-esque, but fun to watch, and Ricky hustled all the way. That's great. A single and an error charge to the pitcher, so another base hit for Gabby Sanchez against the Mets.
I'll tell you one thing it looked like on that. Neese may have hurt himself on that last pitch. And here comes Jerry Manuel and the Mets trainers. This is not what the Mets need at this point. They had, of course, a short start by Oli Perez. Maine labored through 5 innings. I think on that bunt play, David Wright was so close to Jonathan Neese that when Neese came up and wheeled to throw, Wright was almost in his way, and that may have adjusted his throw down to first.
The other thing, too, I think Gabby was not in a sacrifice mode. He was bunting for a base hit in that situation. And, yeah, I think they've already looked to the bullpen. Something has gone wrong with Jonathan Neese. Let's watch and see where David Wright is on this. There's that last pitch. Now, after he makes a pitch, you see his glove. He motions over to the dugout.
I don't see him turn anything on that pitch. I wouldn't be surprised if he did it on the bunt play.
Possibly, and you know, we always speculate. Who knows what has gone wrong? It could be one of those oblique strains in the follow-through, or maybe on that bunt play, because he's not limping. Here's the bunt play. He gets there, but I don't think he had a play. It would have been close at first base. Watch the left leg. He plants. Doesn't look like any problem there. He uncorks a strong throw, but there's David Wright. And I think by throwing it over the shoulder may have misdirected his aim a little bit, and he threw it away. We will probably get a report. You're right, not good news at all.
Here's another look. Watch it in fast motion and how close Wright is when he has to throw it. Yep, he heard it.
He did something there.
It almost looked like about 3 strides before he fielded the bunt, he kind of tweaked something. We got to take a timeout as the Mets have gone to their bullpen. And here's our Marooney called to the pen.
When you need a car, truck, or van, who you gonna call?
And the Marlins have taken advantage of it.
Yeah, and the Mets came into this series a pretty good defensive ball club, but not so far this afternoon. Either getting to the ball or making that throw is where Jonathan Neese tweaked something. It's a bunt single for Gabby. Let's see, is the toe on the bag? Pretty close. But as I said, if you're a runner and you're not sure, boy, he better go back because you know that umpire's right there watching. So Ricky goes back. David Wright's going nuts trying to get the throw to go to home, but the throw a little late, and Ricky with the slide has plenty of time now to regroup.
It just occurred to me that there's got to be, we've seen all the little leaguers that are here today. There's got to be a little league mom or dad that turned to each other and said, "We saw that play yesterday in Billy's game."
We've seen that. Well, Hisanori Takahashi comes in, not overpowering, not quite, doesn't throw quite as hard as Neese. Has a good changeup. He tries to keep hitters off balance. But the Marlins right now, with 3 runs in already, nobody out in the inning, have a chance to really open things up. And also, the length of time with the injury to Neese, it's going to give Ricky a little chance to catch his breath.
Gives us a chance to check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Thank you. They probably saw the 13 consecutive balls thrown in by John Maine last night in Little League 2. One thing I mentioned in the Chris Carter story earlier that Jerry Manuel was talking about is they're more concerned about him defensively. He played a lot of first base in the minors. He did play some corner outfield positions as well, but he said, in fact, we're going to have Angel real close to him. He joked, in fact, right next to Carter in the outfield. The Mets have made some very poor throws in this series, unlike Francoeur in this series, but then that play there by Carter, or as you mentioned, Tommy, lobbing it when he really had a play on Ricky if he throws a good, sharp throw to the plate. But he doesn't have much experience out there, especially at the big league level.
Hanley now with a count 0-1. And so the Marlins lineup was set for a lefty. They get another lefty in Takahashi. It was a great spot for Hanley. Runners at second and third and nobody out.
Jerry Manuel's had to dip into that bullpen the last couple of nights, last 3 games now of this series. He got 7 innings out of Santana in the first game of the series, but only 3 1/3 out of Perez and 5 innings out of John Maine. And he squeezed 5 innings out of Maine.
Do you think Oliver Perez said to himself, "Hey, I might be back in the rotation now"?
Well, he's got a chance if Neese has to go on the disabled list.
Yeah, because Takahashi is the guy that, they've trying to figure out what to do. Do they have somebody in Buffalo? Is there somebody in the bullpen that can take Perez's spot? And so now if they have to fill 2 spots in that rotation,
we'll have to call Justin the intern, who's now one of the Buffalo AAA broadcasters.
Our good friend Justin Shanus is doing a bang-up job as one of the broadcasters for the Buffalo Bison. 2-2 coming to Hanley. It's in. That's been a ball all day long. Takahashi stares in at Larry Vanover. He hasn't called that a strike yet. Maben a 2-run single. Gabby with a bunt single. Cantu waits on deck. 3 runs across. Marlins trying to bust it open. Hanley a shot. Reyes knocks it down. Goes to first. Just in time.
Well, what a play by Jose Reyes. Hanley's hit a couple of sharp ground balls. One a double play out in the same area. He picks it, but the ball was hit so sharply it comes out as he lays out on the dirt. But great concentration as he regroups and then shows off that strong arm to just get Hanley.
Did you see Reyes' eyes on that play? The first thing he did is he saw that the ball was in front of him. He peeked to see what Maben was doing at third.
That's amazing. That's just great instincts.
Now Cantu. Infield is still in.
It's a similar, different situation, but the Marlins in that first inning last night with all the walks that Maine issued had a chance to really blow open the game. But manage just the 3 runs. This is a situation you'd like to get more than just the 3, given the second and third and 1 out now. They keep trying in there, but you're right. Larry Vanover hasn't called that thing.
Cantu reaches out, lines it to right field. Tagging is Maben. On his way home, the throw goes to third, and the Marlins have their 4th run of the ball game. Cantu drives in his 31st run of the season.
I think we had the number last night. Jorge Cantu at the plate with a runner at third and less than 2 out. I believe he's 9 out of 10 now in producing that run. Call me a liar, 9 out of 11, still pretty good. Our crack staff always reminds me if I make a mistake like that. Baseball basics. RBI. Credited with an RBI when he drives in a runner with a hit, sack, hit by pitch, walk with bases loaded. That happened with Dan Uggla last night. All kinds of ways to pick up an RBI. A staff that you and I, Rich, still consider pretty important.
There are some in the new era of baseball's statistical analysts, so to speak, that poo-poo the RBI as mere window dressing. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Uggla takes outside. Blanco throws behind the runner, but Sanchez is back in. At the end of Marlins Live, our postgame offering for you today, a huge video of this weekend in baseball, which started on Thursday. The Marlins and the Mets, a 4-game series. The Fish have taken the first 3 and have a 4-0 lead here in Game 4. Uggla takes low and inside. Dan's aboard. Here comes Paulino with 2 outs. I suspect it is not a music video that the Mets are going to hang around and want to watch in the clubhouse.
They'll not be watching that video. We talked about at the beginning of this series and even coming into this game, the Mets are number 6 in the National League in fewest errors, 22 errors coming into this game. But they've made a couple in this one.
Paulino fouls it back.
Sometimes you can camouflage an error, but the errors in this inning have really hurt.
Well, the bunt by Nolasco back to Nice. If Wright catches that ball, he gets the double play at first, and those are 2 outs. And that means that Sanchez is not bunting when he comes up, which means that Nice doesn't get hurt. I know it's a chain reaction of sorts. Big curveball for a strike. Then you think about the 2 double plays that the Marlins have in this game. The Mets very easily could have 2 or 3 runs on the board were it not for the line drive double play that Cody started in left field, or that Reyes sent rocketing towards Uggla. That in the 3rd inning, which amazingly we're still in the bottom of the 3rd. This is the 9th man to hit for the Fish. It's in. Two. Mom did not spill the lemonade. Come to think of it, that might not be a lemonade, that might be a margarita.
Hey, it's Kids Sunday.
Well, it's Mom, though. It's been a long weekend. There's a liner in the center field. That's a base hit. Here comes Gabby. Here comes a throw. He scores. Ronnie Paulino delivers.
Well, and he seems to deliver all the time against left-handed pitching. Came into the game hitting .378 against lefties. Takes that pitch that was in a little bit. Stays behind the ball instead of rolling over that top hand and drives it into center. And Gabby able to come in and score. So the Marlins were able to squeeze out a couple more runs, and that's very big.
Here's Cody now. He started the inning with an infield single. Chopper off of Wright's glove. Ugla around third. He's going to score. Paulino truck it into third. And the roof is collapsing on the Mets. That's a tough pick. We've seen David Wright make that play. It's going to go as a base hit.
And well, it should. It's a do-or-die play. If you pick it, you throw the runner out. If you don't, it's a base hit because this got top spin. It's hit sharply, and then it gets away from right far enough that Cody Ross is able to get the two-base hit. Just trickles off the side of his glove. So Cody with the double, chasing Paulino over to third base and driving in another.
Mets are going to walk BC to get to Nolasco in a 6-0 game. If we get a report on Jonathan Neese, we will give you an update as to his condition. Neese, the Mets starter, left with some sort of injury. We weren't clear whether it was leg or his side. After an awkward throw fielding Gabby Sanchez's bunt.
And you also have the feeling that with the way the game's going, Jerry Manuel has to stay with Takahashi and not dip into that bullpen. Takahashi may be out there to take one for the team and for the bullpen.
I like this matchup. I think Ricky's bat speed and Takahashi's fastball match up.
The 6 runs here in the third, that's a season high for the Fish for an inning.
Ricky fouls it back. It's 1-1. Paulino an RBI single. Cody gets, I guess, an RBI double. That's the 10th double for Cody.
Cody 2 hits in this inning.
He, Cantu, and Gabby all have 10 doubles. See, Ricky's on this guy until he spins one up there.
Yeah, if he throws that little changeup that fades away from him. Yeah, not too often you get 2 hits in an inning, and Cody's done that.
Yeah, he pulled the string on it. Down goes Nolasco, but the Marlins, with a little help from the Mets, have a big inning. A 6-run inning. is pound the strike zone, hang on to this lead, and work quickly through the Mets lineup. Where the Marlins have gotten deep into the bullpen of the Mets. They battered Ollie Perez around. John Maine was wild yesterday. You go back to the first game of the series, Johan Santana was brilliant. But after that, the Marlins have marched right through the Mets staff. Alex Cora, Jason Bay, and Chris Carter. Cora lined into a double play his first time up. It's a day where Nolasco has not really been that sharp. If you go back and look at his innings.
Yeah, it's one of those games, and I think we saw it last night from Nate Robertson. He wasn't sharp until that third inning. They got the last couple of outs of the third, and then he went on a run of 9 straight that he retired.
Liner to left. Cody! Yes!
Alex Cora's picking on the wrong guy. That's where he lined out to start that double play back in the first inning. 3 center fielders in the outfield. You're going to get plays like this. Very nice. Does it matter where you put him, Rich?
Nope. Right, center, left. He made the throw last night to nail a runner at the plate. Had the big throw for the double play in the first inning of this one. Jason Bay. Ugla wandering back. BC's coming in. And Ugla. That one just kept coming. And Ugla stayed with it. AT&T trivia question time. Flip the phone. And let's do it. Who's the only Met to be charged with 3 errors in 1 inning?
Marv Throneberry. Nah, that might be going back too far.
Ed Kranepool?
Ed Kranepool wasn't bad. Pretty good fielding first baseman.
Well, even the best of fielders have a bad inning. David Wright may be the answer to that one, even though he's won a couple of Gold Gloves. I think I remember Brooks Robinson having maybe not 3 errors in 1 inning. I think he had a 3-error in 1 game night. Hanley spins, throws. Man, that's pretty. Ricky Nolasco, just what you wanted. 8 pitches. Marlins up 6-0. When you need a car, truck, or van, who you going to call? 1-877-MAROONY by Tobacco Free Florida. Escape the addiction of tobacco. Be free. Visit FloridaQuitline.com and by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T. Rethink possible. Fox Vision. We had a lot of great replays in this series, and a lot of those replays will be set to music. The work of Steve Cardamone will be on display at the end of our telecast day today, at the end of Marlins Live. A full-out music video with all the highlights, the calls, the replays of this great four-game series. Great for the Marlins, that's for sure. A tough one for the Mets.
By the way, Rich, you probably find this hard to believe, but I have a really good Mets insider who I stay in touch with, and I'm hearing another pretty good name for that trivia. Hubie Brooks, shortstop. So I'm thinking shortstop too, a guy who's going to get a lot of action in an inning.
How about Kevin Elster?
Wow, boy, he was slick.
Maybe a Doug Flynn.
Doug Flynn.
Doug Flynn at second base.
Santana. Was it Raphael? He was a good fielder.
Rafael Santana, yeah.
You would think it's an infielder, right?
It's got to be a shortstop,
yeah.
Third baseman.
You can hear the call from Larry Vanover. That is strike three. When you got a 6-0 lead, the strike zone gets a little bit bigger.
I know you find that hard, though, that I would have a close friend that's a Mets insider.
Hubie Brooks.
Hubie Brooks.
Nice. All right, let's take a look at Toyota Fox Tracks on that last pitch to Cameron Maben.
Well, I think all afternoon that one's been a ball. But sometimes things change a little bit.
Yeah, well, when you've got a 6-0 lead and it's a Sunday, remember the umpires have flights to catch. There's no umpire charter waiting for them at the airport. It's not like they have charter jets to take these guys around the country. They've got a flight later on tonight, and they'll be headed to another Major League city. And it's a 6-0 game. It's the umpire's way of saying, swing the bats, boys.
And as a hitter, you have to realize that, too. And in the type of game this has gotten to, and really not even a halfway point. So you can't consider it any kind of a blowout. 6 runs. There's still a lot of baseball to be played.
Gabby has 2 more hits. He's got 9 in this series. Don't know how many bunt singles he has in his professional career, but he has one now. He dropped one down, and that set the whole chain reaction with Neese coming off the mound, injuring himself, throwing it down the right field line.
Gabby's 13 for 25 against the Mets this year.
I think a couple of things that we've learned about Gabby just watching him in the big leagues for 6-7 weeks. He's a better first baseman now than he was when the season started. A lot of confidence has helped him defensively.
I think confidence, I think hard work.
I think the other thing I've learned, he's not as slow as some people think he is. I mean, he's not a fast man, but he's not necessarily a real slow guy. I think there was a fear that if he were to hit in the 2 spot, he would end up clogging up the bases in front of Hanley. And I really haven't seen that. Have you?
No, I haven't. And you also start thinking, if not Gabby, who else would hit in that number 2 spot? We saw Chris Coghlan there a little bit. But with the resurgence of Chris swinging the bat better, we've seen a nice combo of Coughlin and Gabby at the top of the order.
And he fouls that one back. 0 for 2 is Hanley's. Hit 2 balls sharply out to Reyes is short. Breaking ball. Larry Vanover tells him. And Hisanori Takahashi strikes out the side. Clay Hardy fresh, 6-0. Marlins on top, helped certainly by the 2 errors of the Mets. And Ricky Nolasco goes to work on David Wright, Ike Davis, and Angel Pagan. And Wright fouls it back. David Wright, a strikeout back in the second, the strikeout leader in the National League. So he's on pace to push around 200 strikeouts. The saving grace for Wright is that his on-base percentage is around 400.
Well, it's way above what he's ever done, though, and that's the
alarming part.
Yeah, 140 strikeouts last year is the most he's ever struck out in a season.
Wright hits a drive to right field. That's well hit. BC got turned around and makes the catch. I bet you Brett Carroll would make a good wide receiver. Takes the good routes. He's able to turn his back on the ball and look back over the other shoulder and find it.
More of a special teams receiver. Punt return, kickoff returns.
A Wes Welker type.
Yeah, yeah.
Ike Davis.
He probably, Brett Carroll, would not be referred to as wormy, as Bill Parcells referred to Mike Stanton in their meeting in spring training.
That's a great story. And Parcells and Freddie have been close over the last few years after Tony La Russa introduced them at spring training up in Jupiter. And I believe, as the story goes, as Parcells was in Freddie's office, Parcells wanted to meet Stanton because he'd heard so much about him. And Stanton, of course, offered a scholarship. He was a wide receiver corner, believe it or not, at his size in high school in Southern California. And USC and Pete Carroll offered him a full ride before he signed with the Marlins. And I think Parcells said, boy, you know, he looks kind of wormy.
So, you know, that didn't take too long to take off and get around the clubhouse.
No, and so Freddie didn't quite agree with that assessment, so Freddie has called him at times big wormy.
You know, the other thing, Freddie stays in touch with Stan Van Gundy and Bill Parcells. And from what I read the other day, Parcells sent Freddie a text after that double steal, the steal of home.
Well, he and Ron Wolf, who live up in your neck of the woods, both big baseball fans and big fans of Freddie. And, of course, Stan Van Gundy has been a Marlins fan for the longest time.
And it is true. Bill Parcells very close with Tony La Russa. We used to see Parcells and La Russa a lot, but now we see Bill Parcells hanging out around the batting cage a lot more with Freddie and the Marlins.
When the Marlins were in Houston, Freddie had a chance to meet Jeff Van Gundy.
Yeah, I believe they had breakfast, right?
They did. I got a chance.
And you joined them.
I joined them for that. Jeff was a classmate of mine and a teammate of mine in high school, junior high. Angel Pagan.
It's funny how all the sports, different sports, obviously. But as Freddie has said, you're still dealing with people, though, and personalities.
Human beings, he said. That's still the challenge, whatever sport you're coaching or managing. And good luck to Stan Van Gundy and the Orlando Magic. Part of the Fox Sports Florida family. Carroll there to make the catch. Time for the Keep Your Edge Spotlight, brought to you by Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Little Ricky Nolasco for you. And the double plays. This was the one in the first inning on a great throw from Cody Ross. This was a much-needed one to get Ricky out of trouble in the third. Ricky has given the Marlins the edge. You two can keep your edge with Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Gabby squeezes. A brief fifth inning. Ricky is rolling and the Fish are on top. 6-0. Tommy's tips. What's your tip, Tommy?
How about a secondary lead? You hear that term every so. Watch Cody Ross. He starts to move off. He has his momentum to the plate with his right foot. The weight's on the right foot. Now, as soon as he sees the ball get by the catcher on the wild pitch by Nieve, he scores the winning run. If you're flat-footed, you don't have that secondary lead, you're too close to the bag, you probably don't score on that pitch.
Bottom of the 5th inning, brought to you by Subway.
And those are all things you can do as a player, and you don't have to have blazing speed, but they'll make you a better base runner.
Here is Cantu now. He's bounced out and has a sacrifice fly. Takahashi took over for Jonathan Neese. The RBI race in the National League is getting a little more competitive. Cantu with 31. Andre Ethier at 38. Casey McGee with 32 now for Milwaukee, tied with Shane Victorino of all people.
Big game for Victorino in that 10-6 win in Milwaukee last night. 4 RBIs.
Cantu wallops that one to left, and Bay reaches up and robs him of extra bases.
You mentioned Andre Ethier has a broken pinky, and it's right where he holds the handle. It's a good play, good concentration by Bay. Last year he was making these catches dealing with the Green Monster. But the Dodgers have to determine whether it's going to affect him so much with his swing. They might have to put him on the disabled list.
Dodgers are just starting to play well.
So they had the veteran Garrett Anderson played right field last night for them.
Ugla cranks one. Go ball! His name is Dan Ugla for the 3rd time in this series.
Well, for Daniel, that's also career home run number 13 against the Mets. And as you mentioned, Rich, 3rd of this series.
And he is now in sole possession of 3rd place on the all-time Marlins home run list. Our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast.
Well, check it out. It's always such a fun swing to watch. It creates so much power. The bat head gets through the zone so fast.
Ronnie Paulino, RBI single. That was in the 3rd inning. He bounced out in the 2nd. This is almost a little bit of an audition, so to speak, for Takahashi in terms of joining the rotation.
Well, the amazing thing, prior to the Cantu line drive out, he had struck out 4 in a row. And that tied him with Carlos Marmol for the league lead in strikeouts by a relief pitcher.
Ugla now on the home run chart is above Derek Lee with Cabrera and Lowell in his sights. Who would have thought, Tommy, that in 2006, as you and I sat up on the podium at the Westin Diplomat, and we had a long list of players that we'd never heard of, all the youngsters that the Marlins were bringing up or traded for or had acquired after really changing the face of the team from 2005. The pronunciation that we got from Major League Baseball on Ugla. His name is Dan Ugla. That's the home run call. The pronunciation chart that we got from Major League Baseball said Ugla. And as he walked into the banquet room and you and I were introducing players, I ended up with Ugla, and I said, and here is
I think we on the list, we also had his first name incorrect.
Yeah, his first name.
First name, Nick.
Nick. The first name on the list was Nick, and the pronunciation was Ugla. And then, ladies and gentlemen, here's Nick Ugla. And as Ugla walks by, he looks up and he said, "The name is Dan Ugla." And
the genesis.
We felt terrible, and we showed him. They say, "This is what we got from your bio. It says Nick Ugla here." And Ugla says, "You know what? I don't care. I'm in the big leagues." And we spent the first month and a half in 06 in every ballpark
telling every announcer.
Telling every announcer.
Every PA announcer.
His name is Dan Ugla. Because Ugla really started to hit and came alive in early May of that year. And then one day he hit a big home run and blurted out, "His name is Dan Ugla." And then the next time he hit a home run, Tommy said, "His name is..." And we went back to it. Cody Ross, left field. That's off the wall. Paulino to third. He'll hold there. Ross has 3 hits, 2 of them doubles.
Well, obviously the position change hasn't affected Cody's swing. Starting the game today in left field. A single and 2 doubles. He launches this one. Wasn't quite sure if he got it or if it was going to stay in the ballpark. It hits high off that wall. Bay couldn't get to it. So Cody now leading the ball club with 11 doubles.
Here's Brett Carroll now. The Mets going to bring the infield in. Or they're just going to actually walk him and get to Ricky again. I'm telling you, I think Ricky is on this guy. He had some good swings his last AB. So that's how that call started, and it was a lot of it was just out of the respect of announcers, PA announcers, and other broadcasters around the league just mangling his name.
Yeah, I think at one point we just got so frustrated that we had to get it out there what his name was.
And it really fit with Ugla's persona. Here's a guy that put up big numbers in Arizona's organization, but the Diamondbacks never gave him a sniff in the big leagues. Ugla had better numbers than some of the guys that got promoted ahead of him.
Had that little chip on his shoulder, which is okay.
He resented that. And when the Marlins took him in the Rule 5 draft, man, he wasn't going to waste that opportunity. So let's see if Nolasco can catch up to one of these fastballs.
I'm with you on this at bat. I think he's going to catch up to one.
Pitch is down low. It's 1-0.
He's got to keep himself in that fastball count.
A good hitter's count. David Wright throws it high and out there, and the Mets get a messy double play. But the Marlins pick up another run, and they do it on Dan Ugla's 9th homer of the season. Indeed, his name is Dan Ugla. Chase Utley, that's impressive. Kelly Johnson, that's impressive. 2 lefties on that list, and Dan Uggla's in there.
And I'll tell you why it's impressive with Dan Uggla, because there was a period of time that he did not hit lefties as well as righties. And I think he's turned the corner on that one.
Ricky back on the mound. By the way, at JM Lexus, Price made him #1, 18 years in running. Click jmlexus.com to find out how. Nolasco's line not overpowering. He's had a couple of atom balls that were double plays. He's going to face Fernando Tatis to open up this 6th inning.
Yeah, Jerry Manuel has Manny Acosta loosening in his bullpen. We haven't seen Tatis has been kind of absent in this series, even though in a couple of occasions, a few of the starters he's had pretty good numbers against.
Tatis, longtime big leaguer in his 3rd year with the Mets. Fouls that one down the line. Did you see that ball? It rolled around the base and then rolled back up the line.
Fernando Tatis did not start against Josh Johnson, but 8 for 12 in his career against JJ.
Here's the 1-1. Down low. Tatis, Reyes, and Cora. Ricky runs that inside. Manny Acosta saying to himself, wasn't I just out here in the bullpen last night?
And the night before? Yes, he was.
Another squibber. Gabby's got it, steps on the back. You think about it, Tommy, the 2 dominant second basemen in Marlins history are here in this ballpark. There's Louis Castillo. There's a great article today in the Sun Sentinel by Harvey Fialkov about Castillo and his legacy as a Marlin, and he makes some great points in it, bringing up the fact that Castillo still holds a lot of records. The Marlins franchise record for runs scored, hits, triples, stolen bases, at-bats, most games played. 14 different records that he holds, and of course,
big part of the 03 championship season.
Yep, and he was a member of the 97 team. He hurt his heel, I believe, in that 97 season before the Marlins went out and acquired Craig Counsell.
Yeah, Craig Counsell. He did have the injury, but Jim Leland always, I think, wanted someone with a little more experience, a little more savvy at playing at that time. Louis, very young in his career.
And, of course, Louis has the 6th longest hitting streak in baseball history at 35 games.
35-game streak.
At the end of the article, Harvey brings up a good point, and that is, and Jeff Conine is quoted in the article as well, and I think Conine agrees, and that is, when you start retiring numbers for the Marlins, you got to retire Louis Castillo's number there as well. I think we all agree that Jeff Conine's probably the first number to be retired. Louis got to be a close second.
And then you look well beyond that. You think of Dan Uggla and Hanley Ramirez.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all Uggla has done since walking on the scene in 06 has hit more home runs by any second baseman to start a career ever
in the major leagues.
And at this pace, in late July or early August, he's going to become the all-time Marlins home run leader. That's for a guy that the Marlins got for $50,000 in the Rule 5 draft that Arizona would not give an opportunity to. Cora pulls one foul.
Speaking of Marlins past and past performers, a rough outing for Dontrell Willis yesterday. The Tigers won the game eventually, but Dontrell, 3 1/3 innings, gave up 4 hits and 4 runs, walked 7. So the control problems continue to bug him.
Liner to left, and Cora is saying to himself, I can't believe Cody Ross didn't make a diving catch on this one. Twice. Ross has made nice plays on Cora's line drives. This one goes for a hit. This is a family Sunday, of course, with the Mets and the Marlins. The next family Sunday, the Phillies are here. That's on May 30th at 1:10. First 5,000 kids get a Dan Uggla poster. All kids can run the bases after the game in the Diamond Dash. The Dan Uggla poster comes with authentic eye black on it.
And the forearms are authentic.
Hayes 0 for 2.
Yeah, just thinking about Alex Cora. He's one of those players. He's a smart player, good player to have on a club. He's the kind of guy you look at down the road. I don't know if he has aspirations, but could be a major league manager.
His brother has interviewed for a few managerial spots. And we'll see Joey Cora in Chicago.
Yeah, on Ozzy's coaching staff.
Like a backup slider. And it's 2-2. Ground ball, Cantu looks at second, fires to first. Safe. Safe at first. A little hesitation by Cantu when he looked up at second cost him because a hustling Jason Bay legged it out.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out if the hesitation was because Dan Uggla wasn't there. Let's see if Uggs got over to cover the bag. I think he was. I think he just decided first base was his best choice. And Bay, give him credit, going up the line hard in a 7-0 game. But I think he got him.
Yeah, he was out.
So I thought a good stretch, too, by Gabby. Look at that. Ball in glove, foot not on bag yet. Tommy's tips.
It's going to be a base hit. Here's Carter.
So that's a 10-game hitting streak now for Bay.
That's off of Carter's foot. And a foul ball. Let's see on Fox Vision.
Fox Vision tells all. And you can even see the impact in the glove of Gabby. All right, foot's not on the bag. Ball's already in the glove. That is a great angle, but again,
umpires do not have Fox Vision.
Yeah, 400 frames a second. I don't think Angel Campos has that. No umpire does.
You heard Craig give us the Chris Carter story, so to speak. You had a chance to talk to his high school teammate, John Baker.
I said, Chris Carter, I said, who was the best player in high school? And he said, offensively, he said, you know what, it's got to be Bake because Bake was the closer.
It's amazing. Bake was the closer on that De La Salle high school team.
But wherever this guy has played, Chris Carter, he's hit. A 300 career hitter, over 300 in the minor leagues with well over 2,000 at bats. So a lot of time in the minor leagues. And I asked Bake, he said, yeah, he threw about 84, 85, but he had great control, and he pitched hitters in. Wasn't afraid to pitch him in.
Velasco at 84 pitches with 2 outs here in the 6th. Nice job by Paulino. You're right about Carter. He has hit everywhere in the Boston organization. He was a teammate of Dan Uggla's in the Arizona organization for part of the 2005 season in Double-A Tennessee.
He was hitting .336 this year at Buffalo before getting called up.
Ground ball, left field, charging is Ross. They're going to send him. Here comes Cody's throw to the plate. He's in there. And Carter's going to end up at second base. Ross is going to get charged for a throwing error. And the Mets are on the board. Tough error. The throw did short hop Paulino.
Yeah, this is probably a little closer than they wanted it to be at the plate. If the throw doesn't short hop a little more in the air or the hop is out further, there's an out at the plate. And the tough part, as you said, is that unfortunately Cody gets the error as Alex Cora comes in to score. But a throw that's a good hop, he's out. And that's why sometimes an outfielder will take a little chance once in a while. An outfielder who's very conservative and doesn't have a good arm isn't even going to try this play. So he's not going to get an error if the throw scoots away from the catcher.
Ricky steps off. There's that fine line as an outfielder as to whether to throw it on the fly or give him a nice big hop. Ball and a strike. Changeup right hits it pretty well. And it's over the head of Brett Carroll. To the wall it goes. Bay and Carter are going to score. The Mets put 3 up here in the 6th inning.
Well, all this coming after 2 out. Tatis grounded out. Reyes grounded out.
And remember, it was that Jason Bay grounder that Cantu hesitated on. A play in which he was out in terms of how it looked, but not in how it was called.
Now, David Wright stays on the ball as long as anybody and has opposite field power as well as anybody. And picks up a couple of RBIs with that 2-base hit. Wright has 26 RBIs now.
Chris LaRue up in the bullpen.
And Ricky's had to work this inning. He's had to throw 27 pitches in this inning alone.
Number 29, first baseman Ike Davis.
Here's Ike Davis. He's bounced out and walked. Velasco trying to get through this inning. One and 0. Another changeup, and it's 2-0. There's David Wright. And now it's 3-0 to Ike Davis, and it almost looks like Ricky is running out of gas.
Remember, he had his trek around the bases. He's been up a number of times already. He's had a lot of inconsistencies. He's been in the dugout a while with some long innings.
Three and 2.
You got the feeling if he gets Ike Davis here, even though you look at the pitch count, that's where pitch count doesn't always tell the story. You get the feeling this might be his last inning. He reached back. He got a little extra, though, there.
Well, if it is the end, he ends on a flourish as he strikes out Ike Davis, leaves David Wright in scoring position. 7-3 Fish. Sunday here in Sun Life Stadium, finishing what has been a 4-game series against the Mets. The Marlins have won the first of the 3. Ricky Nolasco is probably thinking to himself, you know what, the last time I faced the Mets, I had a lead and I left the game and we lost that lead.
Yeah, he doesn't want to leave the game, and it doesn't look like he is, because the bullpen is quiet right now, and I think a lot of that had to do with that last pitch he threw at 92 miles an hour.
Cameron Maben facing Manny Acosta. 3rd consecutive appearance in this series for Acosta. On April the 7th in New York, Nolasco left with a 4-2 lead after going 6 2/3 innings, and the Marlins bullpen quickly coughed it up. That was the game where Raniel Pinto came in and the bases loaded, hit a batter, then walked a batter. Leo Nunez balked in a run. And the Marlins amazingly won that game. Maven pops up and makes the play. Wright making the play at third base. Here we go. Coors Light freeze cam. Let's freeze something. Oh, Cody Ross in Fox Vision. Very cool.
Ah, that is neat. This is where you have to be careful and you have to keep pushing to try to add on.
Check swing. Didn't go. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gabby Sanchez, 2 more hits in this one. 9 hits in this series. You see the 6-game hitting streak. Chris LaRue is up. Gabby with a good cut, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, good cut on that 94-mile-an-hour heater.
Atlanta is hammering Dan Herron in Arizona. Martin Prado and Eric Hinsky have homered. 7-1 Braves.
Eric Hensky getting a lot of playing time lately.
That's in the 5th inning.
Pirates are beating the Cubs again.
Boy, Heron is still in that game, too. Having given up 6 earned runs. He's still pitching in the 5th. And he's at 98 pitches. So you got to know that when Arizona gets here, their bullpen will have been worked a little bit. Two-game series starts tomorrow night. Edwin Jackson for the Diamondbacks. Marlins going with Chris Volstad. Sanchez strikes out. Gabby hustling down to first. We have lots of Little Leaguers here on a Kids Sunday. We wanted to salute one Little League team. Cooper City Little League team, the Pinto Division. The Miami Hurricanes were champions. Josh Woloshin and the rest of his team. His dad, Craig, with the thumbs up. Don't know about the Hurricane hat, though, but is that the team hat? No. They were the Hurricanes, though, right? Nice.
Congratulations, 7-year-olds having some fun.
Costa misses down low to Hanley Ramirez. Hanley's 0 for 3. And the Pirates are beating the Cubs again 3-1 in the 4th. That's in Chicago. I don't think the Pirates have lost to the Cubs all year long. And they're up again in Chicago. The Cubs are in danger of being caught by Houston. Cubs are 15-22. Houston is 13-23.
You know, if that was in another city with the expectations and the team that they have, there'd be quite an uproar.
With a payroll, the largest payroll in the National League, $145 million.
A lot of things seem to slide by in Chicago.
Do you think it's different to the north side of Chicago to the south side?
Yeah. A lot more critical of Ozzie Guillen and things that he does, things that Kenny Williams, the GM, does. It seems to me, in reading about both clubs, seems like you read more negative things about the White Sox.
Is that because there's 40,000 people in the ballpark every game?
Good bet, yeah.
And another 3,000 or 4,000 on the rooftops around? Or is it just the good vibe that you get when you go inside the Cubby Bear?
You do get a good vibe.
That and a $4 pitcher. Two and two to Hanley. Acosta's the third to work. Jonathan Neese, 2 innings. Neese left with an injury that we've not had a report on yet. That one misses down low. Hanley's aboard. Up comes Cantu. Hisanori Takahashi went 3 innings. And now it's Acosta. Cantu an 0 for 2 with a sac fly day. Hit a deep liner to the base of the wall His last at bat, that was in the 5th. Jason Bay made a running catch on it. Two and one. Blanco out to talk to Acosta. They've started in Colorado. Jeff Francis making his return after a long stay on the disabled list.
That would be big for them if he can come back healthy. Yeah, just thinking, this is a situation where, again, the Marlins need to think about adding on to try to take the Mets out of this. If the Marlins sweep this 4-game series, go back to New York, it'll be 6 in a row because they lost that opening game to Johan Santana.
Cantu was on it. Nice play down there. I don't even know if he got out of the stool. I think he just
didn't have to. Had him played just right.
Made the catch. Good scouting report. Breaking ball struck him out. Cantu wasn't looking for that. And Acosta works a scoreless 6th. Going to the 7th. Oh my goodness. It's the Cubby Bear. Kids begging for a souvenir. And Ricky Nolasco's day is done. Chris LaRue comes in. And he's going to face the bottom third of the order in the 7th. Pagan, Blanco, and the pitcher spot. Ricky Nolasco's 6 innings.
I think this is a day, too. We've talked with Freddie. I've talked a little bit to Clay Hensley. They'd like to kind of stay away from Clay in this game today.
Well, if the score holds, I think the Marlins will be able to do that. Pagan 0 for 1, the walk in the 3rd. And LaRue misses down low. It's 2-0. Mets bullpen has a couple up, Valdez and Fernando Nieve.
A couple of guys we've seen in this series. But you have to throw strikes coming in this situation.
There's a strike. That's not. And so LaRue comes in, walks Pagan to open up the 7th. Can't make Randy St. Clair all that pleased.
No, I can't make a pitch coach or a manager very pleased. You have a 4-run lead, and you walk that leadoff man in the 7th inning.
So here's Blanco. Henry Blanco takes a strike.
Just setting up Blanco for that double play ball.
He's hit well when he has started. He's hitting 6 of 7 starts. And he hit his first walk-off home run. He's had a long career, and that's his first walk-off homer. That was in the 11th inning in that wild series against the Giants on May 8th. And that followed up the walk-off home run by Rod Barajas the day before against the Giants.
Taking a page out of the Omir Santos book.
That's right.
It's like Gary Matthews Jr. on deck.
Blanco sends that one into left field. Ross picks it up. And the Mets now have something going in the 7th inning of a ballgame that the Marlins have been in control of.
I was really surprised that Blanco got another fastball. He swung and missed at one, and then absolutely ripped one just foul to tell me that he was on that fastball. And then all of a sudden he got another one and ripped it fair for a base hit.
Your next base pitch inning for the pitcher batting at number 19, Gary Matthews Jr. Matthews pitch inning.
Here's Gary Matthews Jr. Mets acquiring him, but getting some relief on his enormous salary. The Angels are paying $21 million of the $24 million that he's owed this season and next season.
Well, with the injury to Beltran, they wanted to cover themselves and get a center fielder when in fact Angel Pagan has ended up playing a whole lot more than Matthews. If you had, this is another one of those situations, Rich, if you had a left-hander that you had confidence in, you'd probably see him. Because you have Matthews, a switch hitter. You might even want to have him over on the right side. Then you have another switch hitter, Reyes. You might want to flip him over. He hadn't hit right-handed all day. And then Cora's a left-handed bat. But without that luxury, Freddie doesn't have the confidence. He's staying with LaRue.
And I'll tell you what.
You wonder how long this is going to last.
And I'll tell you what, it's going to get tougher tomorrow night when the Diamondbacks show up, because they have some left-handed bats. Kelly Johnson at the top of their lineup has 11 home runs. Adam LaRoche is their cleanup hitter, another lefty bat. Stephen Drew, a left-handed hitting shortstop. That ball's hit hard to center. Maven over to cut it off. The Mets have loaded the bases. And now things are getting a little interesting here. Tying run is coming to the plate.
Yeah, that's why they've gotten interesting.
And it's Reyes. And as Tommy pointed out, Clay Hensley is pretty much off limits with the workload that he's had. Dan Meyer is up.
Now you have to just start thinking about getting outs. You can't think about double play with Reyes up there, even though he lined into one earlier.
It looked like he swung at ball one. He swung at ball two.
So he has shown you don't need to throw him a strike right here. If he gets a pitch that's in the strike zone, it's a mistake. All right.
Now it's 1-2. And I'm sure Ricky Nolasco's thinking to himself, not again. His first start against the Mets, he had that 4-2 lead when they took him out. And the bullpen lost it. It's a 7-3 lead here in the 7th. Pagan walked. Blanco singled. Matthews singled. 1-2 to Reyes. LaRue. There's a ground ball. Uggla to his left hand. Has it. He'll get the out at first. The Mets have a run, and it's 7-4.
Yeah, but also move both runners up, too. So even with the out, Reyes got a couple of things done. He got the run in and moved the other runners up.
Alex Cora has lined to left twice and singled.
Alex Cora, smart player, as we've talked about. He's just up there looking at a pitch, making LaRue throw a strike. He's not going to bunt. He's just showing bunt going to take a pitch, and so far Chris LaRue hasn't thrown him a strike.
It's 3-0. You got Bay on deck, and with Meyer up, you're not going to see Meyer pitch to Bay. At least you wouldn't expect it. After Bay, you've got Chris Carter. There's a strike.
Who Jerry Manuel would probably pinch hit Jeff Francoeur.
Yes. We talked about the fact that Clay Hensley is probably off limits. Brian Sanchez has worked in the last 2 ball games as well. Ground ball, it's a fair ball. Down the line it goes, and into the corner. Carroll picks it up, and that scores them both. And it's a 1-run game now. Here come the Mets.
Ability of the Marlins bullpen to have a couple of guys who have not been used a whole lot because they've not been effective. Cora, patient hitter, gets that one over the bag, drives in 2 big ones. Yeah, a 1-run game now.
Now LaRue to face Bay. Strike, it's 1-1. Jason Bay, a base hit back in the 6th inning. 5 hits in the series, 10-game hitting streak.
Oh, good job by Ronnie. Kept it in front of him.
One of the biggest plays of this game was the ground ball that Bay hit with 2 outs to Jorge Cantu at third. It was a runner at first. Cantu fielded the ball, took a quick glance at second, and then threw to first, and Bay was called safe at first. It kept the inning alive. Chris Carter followed with an RBI single, and then David Wright hit a 2-run double, and that's how the Mets got their first 3 runs against Ricky Nolasco. LaRue strikes out Jason Bay. Here comes Freddie, and he's going to go get the lefty. So Meyer is coming in. We'll see if Jerry Manuel counters with Francoeur or a reasonable facsimile. 7-6 Fish. Here's your Maroney called to the bullpen.
When you need a car, truck or van, who you gonna call? Maroney!
Out, and you can't keep doing that because then they won't be pitching for you in May and June.
Well, they wear down, and you have to give them days off, which is what has happened. So Dan Meyer, who joined the ball club a week ago after rehabbing from a calf injury, this is his first appearance since he joined the ball club. But 11 hits in 3 1/3 innings. He was struggling. When he's on, he has success against right-handers. He uses that cutter. He used the changeup.
It's the tying run out there at second base. Alex Cora. Francoeur drives one to left field. Hits it deep. It's curling. And it's foul. And the count is 0-1. See his series numbers at the bottom. Breaking ball. It's popped up. Carroll giving chase. BC is there, and he makes the catch. And Dan Meyer gets Jeff Francoeur. But the Mets get back in the ball game. Still a lot of baseball left here today. 7-6 going to the bottom of the 7th inning. On Kid Sundays, we have Tommy's tips. Tommy, what's this tip?
First of all, we have getting to the ball in a hurry. That makes that whole play. If you don't get over and cut that ball off and then watch the tag, you've got to stay down with the tag. Sometimes you'll see an infielder try to sweep and a runner will get out of the way. But plays like that are appreciated by relief pitchers. And dumb base running. What is Rob Barajas, Geico quote of the day? Dumb base running. I've seen guys make that mistake, and I say, what are you thinking? It was just bad on being thrown out at second in last night's 9th inning. So he was up front with his base running mistake.
Yeah, he was. Gary Matthews Jr. stays in the ballgame, and he's in right field. Game on now. I mean, this looked like it was going to be a nice cruise to a 4-game sweep for the Marlins, but the Mets are having to do it with a ragtag bunch out of their bullpen, and they were able to get to Ricky Nolasco and get to the Marlins bullpen.
Well, what was once 7-0, now 7-6. So Fernando Nieve comes in. He'll bat in that number 4 spot. Frank Gore pinch hit. He's out of the game. And Matthews Jr. plays right field.
Here comes Ugla. 3 home runs in this series now. Ugla homering in the 5th. And it may have seemed like a throwaway run at the time, but it's the difference in the ball game now. Ugla, Paulino, and Ross. Ugla, of course, that's the second pitch that he has seen from Nieve in the series. The first one was in the dirt, and it scored Cody Ross on the wild pitch.
Well, things have kind of shut down. You look back at that 3rd inning when the Marlins batted around 6 runs, 5 hits. Only 2 hits since that inning, one of those being the home run that you talked about at Dan Ugla.
This was the 5th. That was off with the lefty Takahashi. And Nieve has missed outside with his last 2 fastballs. Ugla has walked and bounced out as well.
Well, he has seen what Dan Ugla can do to a fastball middle in.
That was center cut. Don't know that if I was Fernando Nieve, I'd give him that same location.
Not on a 3-1 pitch.
He got it, and Ugla just missed it. He got it off the end of the bat. Still, he drives it all the way to the wall in left center field.
Yeah, you're right. He did just miss that. Didn't have that solid crack sound.
Bert Badenhop down in the Marlins bullpen. Paulino takes up. Nieve falls behind him 2-0. This road trip for the Mets is kind of an odd trip as well. And a lot of teams are going through this next week. And that is two-game series back-to-back. The Mets go to Atlanta for 2 and then to Washington for 2. Ball 4, and Paulino's up. Down to first base. Marlins schedule. Of course, tomorrow night starts a brief 2-game series with the Diamondbacks. And then it's on to St. Louis to take on the Cardinals for 2.
Probably see some pretty good starting pitching in that Cardinal series, too.
Ross takes a knee-high fastball for a strike. Big day for Cody. Ross throws his bat, a little roller, hits the base, and it rolls by third. Now that's what clean living will do for you. Cody Ross, an emergency swing, and Wright made the mistake of not getting to it before it got to the base.
Cody Ross has had a nice game. He's gotten a few breaks. He had an infield base hit early in the game. This one hits the bag. Another infield single. Cody Ross, a 4-hit day, 2 singles and 2 doubles. But you're right. If David Wright can get to that ball, I don't know if he could. He was trying to.
Yeah, he tried to.
He tried to because he knew that the dilemma was there if it hit the bag.
So 4 for 4 is Ross. And here is Coghlan. Coghlan pinch hitting for Brett Carroll. Carroll walked 3 times, 2 of them intentionally. Fernando Nieve does have a good fastball.
Fourth time, Rich, by the way, in Cody Ross's career. He's had a 4-hit game.
Coghlan sitting on a 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Paulino walked. Ross had the infield single. And Coghlan fights off a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
That's some pretty good heat. Chris hasn't had a whole lot of pinch hitting appearances, just one prior to this one. 0 for 1. There's 2 ways to look at it. The fastballs, which you've seen are mid-90s, have been fouled off the opposite way, so Chris isn't getting around on it. But the more you see, the better it looks. So they have to think, do I go with that 96 or maybe drop a slider? Another fastball, 96.
Did you see the at-bat that Kaz Matsui had to end the game yesterday? Brian Wilson with like a 38-39 pitch save. The Giants and the Astros.
Throwing heat, no less, either.
Oh, yeah. I think it was like a 13 or a 14 pitch at bat. Coghlan.
That's just fighting off a pitch that's borderline with 2 strikes.
And that's what Matsui did numerous times in the 9th inning in a 1-run game. And he finally ended the game by flying out to left field.
And that sealed the deal for Lincecum.
That's the pitch that has really been troublesome for Coughlin this year, especially in April and the first weeks or so in May, is that fastball up under the hands that he's been unable to lay off on. Two-two.
It's a tough call because it's a pitch that's really hard to lay off of. You can't lay off that high fastball when you have 2 strikes because you don't want to get called out. But I think last year we probably saw him get on top of it and hit it more often as opposed to swing and miss or foul back.
10th pitch of the at-bat. And there's the slider finally. Now, is that just window dressing, or does he go back to the heat?
I think he goes back to his best pitch. So far, Chris has fouled off everything. He's fouled off some fastballs, pretty good slider there, and he fouls that one off. But second trip to the mound already for Henry Blanco.
So this will be pitch number 11 to Coughlin. He didn't bite on the breaking ball, and so
now you know he's going to get the fastball.
At 3-2, great chance he'll get a straight one.
You'd like to send the runners, but you have Ronnie Paulino at second, and Chris has struck out more than he should. So probably not.
Coughlin drives it center field. Pagan goes back, looking up, gone!
Turf shot!
Chris Coughlin goes boom! And the Marlins, just like that, get 3 back.
Wow! On the 12th pitch of the at-bat, Chris Coughlin throws a blue tarper out there. Wow! Here comes that 95, 96 mile an hour fastball. A little above belt high. Pagan just watched it land on that tarp.
That ball went a long ways.
All of a sudden, without a home run, Chris Coughlin has hit 2 in this series.
Brian Peterson is going to pinch hit for Chris LaRue. Somewhere Ricky Nolasco is saying to himself, all right.
Well, you know, the same is true with Jerry Manuel's bullpen. And when you don't have starters get you deep, the more and more you use them, the less and less successful they become.
And that's one of the frustrating things for the Marlins situation is the Marlins do have starters that have been getting the bullpen deep into games, especially in this last week and a half. Peterson fouls it back. But the relievers that have been successful
have been the same guys.
Been the same guys, and you can't use those guys every day. A 3-run pinch hit homer by Chris Coughlin.
That's his second career pinch hit home run.
Fernando Nieve has been a focal point in this series. It was Nieve, remember, in the bottom of the 9th in Game 1 in a 1-1 game. They coughed up a wild pitch as the Marlins won it. Peterson strikes out. And it's Nieve here who gives up the 3-run homer to Coughlin.
Number 24, center fielder.
strike. Maben had a 2-run single in the 3rd. He struck out twice and popped out. Two breaking balls, and quickly it's 0-2. David drives that one to right field. Matthews is there, and he makes the catch. Marlins get a big, big pinch hit home run from Chris Coghlan. As in a 3-run blue tarp shot.
Dozens and dozens of Little League teams here. Great day to come because they got their Hanley Ramirez batting glove, and Coral Springs well represented. Coach Rocky from the Rockies, is that just that chance?
No, that's my name. That's my name.
How many are here from Coral Springs?
Oh, my, we got maybe 800 people over here from the American and National League, and well as other teams from the area.
That's good stuff. Now, one fan came prepared. What's your name, Chris?
Yeah.
What'd you bring?
Broom.
Now, Chris has never used this broom. Is that right? You've never used the broom into the house?
Nope.
Why'd you bring it?
Sweep some Mets.
All right, good job, guys. And a great play by Hanley, appropriately on Hanley's batting glove there. These kids having a great time. Good supporters, too. Back to you.
That's good stuff, Craig. That's how you get fans. You bring them out early, have an exciting game, and they get the fever as young kids. More good defense. We've seen it this whole series on both sides. Leaping grab by Hanley.
So Hanley helps out the hopper. Burke Badenhop is in. The hopper takes over for Dan Meyer. It was Chris LaRue who ran into trouble in the 7th inning. Meyer got the last out. Ball's in the air. Coghlan makes the catch.
Yeah, that pinch hit 3-run shot took a little bit of the sting out of the Mets, and that's just what the Marlins needed. I don't know if I've seen Chris hit a ball that far. We talked about David Wright the other day in that area off that facade. Anything on that blue tarp straightaway center field is a long way.
It was funny too because off the bat you weren't sure.
Almost thought he got under it, and then I looked at Pagan.
And Pagan's initial route was a step to his left, and then all of a sudden he realized, and he had
a step to his left, and then he became a spectator.
Yes. Here is Pagan, and he takes a strike. Leo Nunez is available, by the way. Though if the hopper works a quick inning here, you never know. Pagan has walked a couple times, and he's flied out. Boy, stay hot, Cincinnati Reds. They beat the Cardinals 7-2. Last night, they won their ball game in dramatic fashion when the tying run was thrown out at the plate for the last out of the ball game. And Bronson Arroyo gets the win and beats Brad Penny. Scott Rowland hits his 7th homer. Dusty Baker and the Reds are rolling. 1-2. And that's out. After the ball game, Marlins Live, a music video recap of this Mets series.
Boy, a lot of stuff to recap in this series. And all on the positive note, I might add.
Well, it's not done yet. The Marlins, who at one point in this ballgame had a 7-0 lead, melt down to 7-6. You talked earlier about coaches in any sport, be it a Bill Parcells in football or a Stan Van Gundy in basketball or Freddie Gonzalez managing here in baseball. It's never easy. Gabby, Hopper, oh goodness. Everybody goes down. Let's hope everyone's all right. Hopper stumbled over the bag, did not make the catch. Pagan took a nasty spill.
Now that had trouble written all over it. You get that backside of the bag, that foot's in the way. Both players very fortunate that they both come up neither limping. That'll be an infield base hit for Pagan.
Blanco now. Oh, 2.
I like the youngster who brought the broom, by the way. Foresight.
Ricky ball is down low. That's going to be a stolen base. Pagan stealing second. The Marlins were actually holding him on first base. One, 2 coming.
Well, he's trying to tempt Blanco to go after that. He won't, but this is very close. Maybe off. Wow. Up in that area, you're not going to see too many called strikes.
Hopper lost him, and here comes Matthews.
Number 19, right fielder Gary Matthews Jr.
Let's see who gets up off that phone call. Looks like Sanchez.
Badenhop got the first 2 outs on 3 pitches. Problem is he's thrown 13 since.
Ground ball into left. Coughlin up with it. Run is going to score. And the Mets are going to bring the tying run to the plate, and it's Reyes again. Matthews delivers. Give the Mets credit. They have not rolled over.
Now Matthews coming in the game. Picks up his second base hit. Good hitting there to sneak it by Hanley. Pagan with really good speed scored easily.
Sanchez and Pinto in the bullpen. Well, that play at first base, you saw the ball in Hopper's glove, and it looked like Hopper got there just before Pagan did, but he didn't hold it.
The Mets have taken advantage of a couple close plays at first base.
Yeah, the one ball that Jason Bay beat out on the grounder to Cantu. It's the old saying, you just can't give outs away in the big leagues. Ball and a strike. Reyes a 1-for-4 day. Now it's 2-1. Even 2-2. Reyes has driven in 11 this year. He's not homered. Center field, Maben going back. Cameron is there, and he makes the catch. And the 8th inning. Little anxiety and a run. It's 10-7. Out of the ballpark, a 3-run homer. And a huge shot for the Marlins. On a kid's Sunday, look at all the runs late in this ball game. I think a lot of that has to do with the bullpen and the fact that this is game 4 of a 4-game set.
Everybody's familiar with everybody, seeing a lot of the same guys out of the bullpen, except for K-Rod. Francisco Rodriguez, first appearance in this series. You had the feeling that Jerry Manuel would get him in a game just to get him an inning. And the guy who has a nasty fastball and slider got pretty good numbers, just 5 saves, though. Hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities.
Gabby Sanchez fouls a pitch back. And pitch 1-1. Sanchez, Hanley Ramirez, and Jorge Cantu. There's that wicked, wow, slider.
Leo Nunez getting heated up.
Gabby into the bat, guides it out into center, and Pagan glides over to get it and makes the play. There's one out. Fan balloting is underway for the 2010 Major League Baseball All-Star Game, and you can help the Marlins get there. Vote online at marlins.com, and you'll have a chance to win a suite for 12 and an autographed All-Star poster. Or, if you're at the ballpark, just vote at the stadium during any upcoming game, and you'll have a chance to win a trip to the All-Star Game in Anaheim. Angels are starting to play better. Out in the American League West, this is Hanley. K-Rod misses up with a breaking ball.
Angels 4 games under 500 coming into play today, but you're right, playing a little bit better lately.
They've beaten Oakland a couple times in that series. Hanley gets jammed on a 1-0 pitch, and he pops out to Ike Davis. Cantu coming up on Marlins Live. We'll go back and relive the highlights of this one, including the 3rd inning. Jeff Conine will take you through outfield assist, live interviews from the field, and of course, after Marlins Live, the full-blown music production of a 4-game series with the Marlins and the Mets. Presented in HD and full Dolby sound. Here's Cantu.
It's funny how plays can set a tone of a game, of a series. You go back to the first game of this series, in that wild pitch in the 9th inning, the Marlins winning the game on the wild pitch. Kind of set the tone for this series.
I'll do you one better. You go back to the very first batter of this series. It was Angel Pagan, and it was the Chris Coughlin diving catch in left field. Remember? We were trotting out.
It was great defense.
We were trotting out Fox Vision, and everybody in the truck was ready for the first big replay. And right out of the box, Coughlin makes that catch.
How about his throw last night to nail Barajas at second base? Of course, everyone will remember the pinch hit 3-run homer to dead center field.
Or the bubble he blew when he was homering earlier in this series. Rodriguez is, you talk about pitchers that are maximum effort guys and that fall off the mound. Rodriguez did a full 3. I mean, he spun right around in that one. Just a violent delivery and finish.
Yeah, he actually spins, almost has his back to the plate when the batter swings.
He is good. And he goes 1-2-3 through the fish in the 8th. Leo Nunez gets the call to try to save a wild one. It's down to this now, 9th inning. Long afternoon of baseball here at Sun Life Stadium. Brian Barden comes in at third base, and that moves Jorge Cantu over to first. And Leo Nunez will try to nail down the save.
Kind of comes back to what we were talking about, Rich, that you have a 4-game series. Everybody becomes familiar with each reliever. And this is the third appearance for Leo Nunez in this series. He was real sharp in game 1, saving that 2-1 game. Not as sharp last night when he came in and gave up 3 hits and a run in the 9th inning. And got some defensive help to go along with that.
Alex Cora. Couple of high strikes.
That inning started last night with that Barajas single when he tried to stretch it into a double and was thrown out by Chris Coghlan.
And you got Jason Bay and the pitcher spot due up for the Mets. Marlins have used now 4 relievers after Nolasco's 6 innings. And Cora stays alive.
That's the other thing that fans forget, and they'll say, why? You got 6 innings, just use this guy, this guy, this guy. Well, it doesn't always work out that you're going to get that nice clean inning out of every guy that comes out of the bullpen, as we've seen today.
This is up, evens the count at 2-2. A chance to sweep the Mets in a 4-game series. The Diamondbacks arrive. Edwin Jackson, Chris Volstad tomorrow night.
Yeah, the Marlins have never swept the Mets here in a 4-game series.
Jerry Manuel, how much heat will he be feeling after this series? Little pop-up. Barden going hard, sliding, and he did not make the catch.
What a great effort. Just came in the game for defensive purposes. We talk about it all the time. You just can't slide on that rubberized stuff over there. He gets down. He does the right thing. But all the other stuff he's thinking about, the wall crashing into it, the ball just kicked off the heel of his glove. Good effort by Brian Barden.
Wow. You see the ball still up in the air. Count 2-2. Nunez just overpowers him. Cora put up a good battle. Nunez gets the first out of the 9th.
Just say, okay, I'm going to go with the good fastball upstairs. Alex Cora couldn't handle that one.
Bay drives one, left center field. No one going to get that one until it bounces off the wall. Maven will retrieve it. Bay digging around second and headed for third. And Jason Bay has his 4th triple of the season.
I think Jason Bay surprises a lot of people with his speed and showed a little of it there. And he's going to pile up some triples in that big ballpark, Citi Field in New York. He had an infield base hit in the 6th inning, so 2 hits in this one, a 10-game hitting streak now for Jason Bay.
Well, here's Luis Castillo, and then you got David Wright. And you'd like to get Castillo so that Wright doesn't come to the plate as the tying run.
Luis going to do everything he can just to try to get on base.
Castillo is one of the toughest to strike out in the National League, though he has struck out twice in this series. That's only 6 times all year. Puts it in play. That'll score the run. Ugla just gets the out. So Wright does come to the plate, but he's not the tying run. Marlins have a 2-run cushion. Boy, nothing comes easy in this game, does it?
Not in this one. I mean, the last 3 innings of this game, there have been 8 runs scored. The Mets have scored 5. The Marlins 3. We've seen a steady stream out of both bullpens.
Remember the key matchup in Game 1 when Leo Nunez came into a tie game in the 9th inning. Castillo had the infield single on the Barden throwing error. Castillo was in scoring position with nobody out. Nunez got a couple outs, and then he struck Wright out on a changeup. He's gone 2-1 now on the Mets' third baseman. Ronnie Paulino took one in the chops.
Yeah, it's one of those games, I'm sure this is where you have to keep your head in it all along as a closer. Early in the game, the way things were going, 7-0 lead, Leo Nunez didn't think he'd be called on to try to save it. There's a shot in the mask, and Ronnie takes it.
Two and two. No changeup that time. He went with the fastball. Does he go back to the fastball, or does he try to fool him with a changeup? Fastball struck him out. Ball game. Nunez saves it. A long and wild day comes to a close, and the Marlins have done something they've never done in their history, sweeping the Mets in this ballpark in a 4-game series. Chris Coghlan with a big blow, a 3-run pinch hit homer. He was the late offense. After the Marlins jumped to a 7-0 lead, Coghlan's homer helped seal the deal. Ricky Nolasco gets a much-deserved win. He is now 4-2. And the Fish, who opened this series at 2 under, finished this series at 2 over. Marlins Baseball on Fox Sports Florida, brought to you by Marooney. Hey, South Florida, when you need a car, truck, or van, who are you going to call? 1-877-MAROONEY. By Corona. Kick back, relax with an ice cold Corona and lime. Enjoy a Corona today. And by Dodge Ram Trucks, award-winning Ram trucks, plus a new heavy duty. Make it one of the most powerful lineups in Ram history. Don't forget, Marlins Live and our big music video of the Mets series. The Marlins sweep the Mets in 4.